Welcome to jQuery video series, and this is part 98, and today we are going to look into the width function of jQuery, which is pretty straightforward. So let's jump into that. And before we proceed, I'm assuming that you might be having a jQuery file with you into your project, and you have added the reference of that into your head section, and you have also written some basic JavaScript code in order to execute our jQuery instruction. Right, so now we're gonna start with the jQuery. Okay, so before moving to that, let's check the mockup. So what we have, the mockup over here is we have one h2 element and 4 paragraph tag. All right, and if you look at the last one is a special one because it's a paragraph. It has a class green, which means I'm attaching a border of 5 pixel and green color to it. And I'm also setting its width, which I can do here if I want to, but I'm specifically doing over here. Okay, so that's it about the markup. Now let's talk about the width function. So what it does, it gets and sets the width of a match element. So let's play around with this element. So before running everything, I am going to run this thing, so we have an idea what's happening. So you can see this is my element, okay, and this is paragraph 4, and the width is 720, right? So you're getting me. And if you look at the layout, I'll get down to the layout later on. So now I want to know using a jQuery what's the width of this element. So if I want to do that, so I have two techniques which I know at present. In the last video what we saw was the CSS function, and I said using a CSS function you can determine the different properties of an element. So one of them is width. So what I'm instructing jQuery over here is, hey jQuery, get into the DOM, get me all the P elements and get me especially the last one. So we are focusing right here, and I want you to find out the width of this element, and whatever you find, you put that value into this variable, and in the end we are going to do the alert. So if I come over here and if I do the refresh, so you are getting the 720px, right? And the same 720px we have set over here. So this is cool, right? So this is one of the way I can determine a width. And apart from that, jQuery offers a width function, which we just talked about, which also does the same thing. But if you have noticed the previous result, I'm sorry, it got executed right away. So basically it has executed this one. So again, I'm fetching the last paragraph and I'm asking the width, and I'm then putting the value in it, and then I'm making an alert. So that's what this was about. But when I did the same thing using the CSS method, it gave me 720px, and over here I'm getting a pure integer which is 720. So you're getting the difference, right? Okay, now we are done with the get part. Now let's do some setting. So we know our width is 720 pixels, right, of the last element. So let's set its width to 900px. So that you can do using this width function, which can accept two types of value. One can be a numeric, or where you don't need to apply a px, or you can apply the string value where you need to specify 900px. So when I do this, and if I do the refresh here, you will see the increase in the width, right? So you see the increase in the width, right? And the same thing I can achieve using this. Like I said, it expects two things. So oops, before doing that, let me do the refresh. So our width is back to 720, and now let me enable this part. So now my width will be extended. Cool. So I hope you understood the concept of using a width function. It is very, very easy. All right, up next we are going to look into the inner width function, which is a little bit tricky, but it's fun to have, right? So I hope to see you there, and once again thank you for your time on this, and thank you for listening to me.